What's up guys, today we are going to learn how to balance a Steadicam. Welcome back to DKD21 Media, the channel where we teach you how to step up your video production in the simplest and easiest way possible. So today we are going to learn how to balance a mirrorless camera on a Steadicam. I'm using the Koolertron Steadicam, which is a very inexpensive Steadicam as opposed to the Glidecam and Flycam alternatives that are currently in the market. But this tutorial applies to all of those Steadicams. If you're somebody that is just getting into filmmaking and you have to purchase a cheap one like this one, you'll be fine, no worries. They pretty much all work the same, except some have better build qualities and features. First thing you have to do with the Steadicam is attach the camera onto it. So let's get the camera. Check whether you have straps on it. If you do, you're gonna take them off. The next thing we do is we take off the lens cover and we make sure that our batteries and memory card are on the camera. The reason for this is that any additional weight that you add after you balance the camera on the Steadicam can actually put the camera off balance. So we attach the plate to the camera like so. When you're just putting it on the camera, you can put it roughly in the center. So something like this. The next thing you want to do is you want to make the camera line and the bottom plate line parallel. So like so. Why are you wearing two watches? You want to drop down the pole as far as you can. This is quite a small and compact Steadicam, so the pole only comes out this much. And what it means is if you have a very short stick length, you're limited to how much weight you can actually carry on the Steadicam, and we'll show you that in a second. Balancing the Steadicam involves 3 iterative processes. For the first iterative process, we're going to drop the camera and the drop time should be between 2.5 and 3 seconds. So 1 Mississippi 2, that was way too fast. So what we do, we shorten the length of the stick by a little bit, just like that, and then we try again. So 1 Mississippi 2, that was way too quick. You can see why this is an iterative process. 1 Mississippi 2 Mississippi, that was much slower, and I'm almost happy with that. 1 Mississippi 2 Mississippi 3, that was way too long. 1 Mississippi 2 Mississippi, that was pretty much it. I'm pretty happy with that. So what the drop test does is that it balances the camera on 1 axis out of the 3 axes. For the second iteration, you want to put the Steadicam on a flat plane and you want to lift it up. And when you lift it up, you want to see which way does the camera go. Okay, so I've got a table right here and the camera is now standing on it. And if I lift it up, you can see that the camera tilts a little bit to the right. So what I'm going to do is move the camera a little bit to the left. Just like so. All I'm doing is unscrewing and moving. And then we try it again. So you can see it's leaning a little bit less to the right. So we move it a little bit to the left. We're almost there. Okay, so now we're a bit too far to the left, so let's move it a little bit to the right. So now that I've almost balanced it perfectly in the left and right axes, I'm going to try and balance it in the forwards and backwards axes. So this tilt there. So what I'm going to do is the same exact thing, but just compensate for whether it's going forwards or backwards. So here I'm picking it up, too much forwards, I'm going to move it a little bit back. So you can see there, just immediately, it's no longer moving forward. See on the camera, there is not much of a tilt forward. And we're really close to getting it balanced. You can tell right there, it's tilting a little bit to the left. So I go back to that and change that axis. Okay, so some of these Steadicams have some markings that you can use, which I am using as a reference. So now that I pick it up, I'm quite happy with how it is. It tilts much less to the sides and to the front and back. The third iteration that we do is that we test it with movement. What you want to firstly test is the push. You want to push the camera in and see how it does. But then when I push it in, it starts to move to the left. So I'm going to compensate. You basically want to do small tweaks to make sure that the camera is balanced. So again, we test the push. Move it to the left and to the right and up and down. And just doing so, without touching it, of course, we can see whether the camera is balanced. So right now, you can see that the camera doesn't actually move too much. There are a little bit of tweaks that I could do, but for the length of this video, I'm just not gonna do it. Once you keep practicing balancing the camera, you can actually perfect your technique and you can speed up the time that it takes for you to balance the Steadicam. But if I was doing just run and gun, I'll be quite happy with the way it is now. So yes, we've balanced it. You can turn your camera on, you can start filming. And remember, when you're holding the Steadicam, always use 2 hands, with the front 2 fingers being the drivers of the direction of the camera. So if you're going around a subject, you will turn the camera with your right hand. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's how you balance the Steadicam. Just to recap, you do 3 iterations. First being the drop test, and then the second putting it on a table or flat surface, picking it up and checking for any tilts in the left and right direction and the forwards and backwards direction. And then the last iteration is to use some movement. And when you've done that, you got a close to perfectly balanced Steadicam that you can use in your shoots and take some nice, smooth footage. I've used it in my recent video, which was a smoke video shoot. I'll put the full-length video up here so you can check it out for yourself. If you enjoyed that video, leave it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you struggle with balancing your Steadicam. I certainly did when I first started. And lastly, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button to be informed when I release a new video. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.